One question. That's all it took. One question, asked in a room full of cameras, and one of the biggest bands in the world went silent. Not silent because they didn't understand it. Silent because they knew that whatever they said next, they couldn't take back. This is the story of a single Grammy category, a category that was supposed to celebrate Asian artists. Instead, it split one of the most powerful fandoms on Earth right down the middle. On one side, BTS, making a stand so bold they didn't even bother saying it in English. On the other, Stray Kids, standing in front of the same question, in front of the same cameras, just 1 week later. And what they chose to say, or rather, what they chose not to say, is still lighting up timelines right now. Chapter 1. The statement that changed the conversation. Let's go back to where this actually started. In June of 2026, the Recording Academy, the organization behind the Grammy Awards, announced something new. A brand new category called Best Asian Pop Music Performance. On paper, it sounded like progress. A whole category dedicated to celebrating the explosion of pop music coming out of Asia. K-pop, J-pop, C-pop, all under one roof, finally recognized. But not everyone saw it that way. On July 29th, all 7 members of BTS posted the same message, at the same time, on their individual accounts. And here's the detail almost nobody talks about. They didn't write it in English. They wrote it in Korean. The message was simple, but it hit hard. They said they'd decided not to submit their music for Grammy consideration this year. They said they hoped music could be heard and loved for what it is, not divided up by region or by language. No anger, no accusations, just 7 names and one quiet, unified decision. But the choice to write it in Korean? Fans immediately read between the lines. To many, it wasn't just a statement. It was a message that said, we don't need this recognition translated for the West to mean something. The Grammy's own CEO responded within hours, saying he was saddened by the decision. But he defended the new category, calling it a celebration of Asian pop artistry, not a way of dividing anyone. And here's the twist that made the whole thing even more complicated. BTS's own massive English language hit this year, the one that hit #1 on the charts worldwide, wouldn't have even qualified for this new Asian pop category in the first place, because the rules require the song to meaningfully use an Asian language. So BTS wasn't protecting their own shot at winning something. They were making a point about the category itself. But the story didn't end there. Chapter 2. The question no one wanted to answer. For a few days, it looked like BTS's decision might spark a movement. Fans wondered, would other artists follow? They mostly didn't. Industry experts weighed in, suggesting BTS could afford to make this kind of statement because of exactly where they are in their career right now, coming off a massive, critically praised comeback with nothing left to prove. But one group didn't have the luxury of staying quiet on the sidelines. Just 1 week after BTS's announcement, Stray Kids sat down in Seoul for a press conference. They were there to promote their brand new mini-album, This and That, released on August 7th. It should have been a straightforward day. New music, new era, new records to celebrate. Instead, reporters kept circling back to one topic: the Grammys. Would Stray Kids follow BTS's lead? Watch closely, because this is the moment everything shifted. Chapter 3. The answer that wasn't an answer. Member Seungmin was the first to respond. He didn't say yes, he didn't say no. Instead, he said something close to this, that Stray Kids has never set out to chase a particular award, and that they're simply grateful K-pop is loved this much around the world. Reporters pressed further. Hyunjin followed with a similar answer, that from the very beginning of their career, Stray Kids has never made music with a specific trophy or record in mind. On the surface, it sounds like a humble, professional answer, the kind of thing artists say all the time. But almost instantly, clips of the exchange started spreading online, and the reaction wasn't gentle. Fans pointed to something that made this moment far more complicated than it looked. Stray Kids has actually submitted music for Grammy consideration in previous years. So when the group avoided the question entirely, instead of giving a clear yes or no, some fans didn't hear humility. They heard avoidance. Within hours, hashtags were trending, clips were being clipped and reclipped, and one label started attaching itself to the group that they couldn't shake. Hypocrites. Chapter 4. 2 fandoms, 1 firestorm. To be clear, and this part matters, the accusation of hypocrisy is not a confirmed fact. It's an opinion, spreading fast across social media, built on the idea that a group who wants to be nominated shouldn't stay silent about a controversial new category, while simultaneously staying eligible for it. Some fans online went further, questioning why a group would keep submitting to the Grammys year after year if awards supposedly never mattered to them in the first place. Others pushed back hard, defending Stray Kids, arguing the group was simply being professional in a press conference, refusing to drag themselves into a conflict that technically wasn't theirs to begin with. And that's when this stopped being a story about 2 K-pop groups and became something bigger. Because underneath all of this is a real, unresolved industry debate. Does a category built specifically for Asian pop artists actually protect and celebrate them? Or does it quietly push them into a smaller room, away from the biggest stage of all? Critics have pointed out the uncomfortable irony. A category meant to honor Asian pop music, created by an American institution, now deciding, in some fans' eyes, who gets to be Asian enough to qualify, and who gets grouped separately from everyone else. There's also one detail worth remembering here. According to at least one music industry critic, even if Stray Kids eventually does decide to submit for next year's Grammys, their brand new title track might not even be eligible in time, simply due to how close the release date falls to the submission deadline. Which means this entire viral, fandom-splitting controversy might not even change what actually happens behind the scenes. So where does that leave us? BTS made their stance loud and clear and unmistakable, using their own language to do it. Stray Kids, standing in almost the exact same spotlight 1 week later, chose the opposite path. Careful, measured, unwilling to take a side in public. Neither choice was wrong, but only one of them avoided the question completely. And in the age of social media, sometimes it's not what you say that defines you. It's what you refuse to say. This debate is far from over. Grammy submissions for this category officially close on August 21st. Nominees will be revealed in November, and the ceremony airs in February of 2027. Which means the real answer, the one everyone's actually waiting for, is still coming. So here's a question for you. If you were in Stray Kids' position, standing in that room, facing that exact same question, would you have given a straight answer, or would you have played it safe, just like they did? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary from Zenk, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss our next story.